I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is my modded adventure. Oh boy. Now, one quick thing I wanted to mention at the start of today's episode is something I forgot to mention last episode, and that is lunar effects. That's right, at night, there are sometimes a chance that some sort of effect can happen, and well, it could range from anywhere between tougher mobs to anti-gravity, all the way to, I don't know, maybe all of the mobs in the overworld turning into nether mobs when they spawn. Yeah, it can get kind of funny. I can't wait for one of those to happen. But to start off today's episode, I want to get into some more tech. And right now I have noticed a little bit of a weird thing with the rats. They've done all their quarrying, right? But I think they are still set to the old ways of Minecraft. Because if I look down into my quarry, I notice that it pretty much went down to -1. And well, as we know, this now drops into the negatives and completely goes down. But my rats have completely stopped working. They're like, you know what? I'm not mining through this deep slate. And I don't blame them. It's kind of a pain to mine through the deep slate. So I'm thinking, what if we start work on another mod that has the ability to sort of quarry, but not exactly quarry in this same way, or like a digital quarry. Now, I hope you're strapped in and ready, because today's episode, we're diving into Industrial Foregoing. Now, before we fully get into Industrial Foregoing, I do want to expand a little bit. I want to incorporate our rats into all of the setups for this, but we are going to need to start thinking about physical mob farms. Whether that is passive mob farms or what have you with auto breeding, we still need to figure out how we're going to set this up. So I'm thinking expanding out and making sure we have a nice large area, like extended out, should give us a bit more space to sort of plan out those farms. Before I get to building, it'd probably be beneficial if I go ahead and get the latex production started. This process can take a little bit of time, but if we get it started now, it will feel like it doesn't take any time at all, because we will start working on other things while this is working. Now, we are going to need machine frames, and you are going to need a few resources to get started with this. I think I'm going to do like 3. I think that is pretty good. We're going to start off with 3 of the fluid extractors. And this isn't going to be too fast, but if we give it enough time, of course, it will fill fast, like I was mentioning. It looks like we need a couple of plates and so on and so forth. Looks like a little bit of gold. Takes a little bit of time to get all these resources, but getting started is not too bad with industrial. However, later on, we are going to need some other ingredients. Hopefully by the end of today, we should be able to find those things. But let's go ahead and set this up just right back here for right now. So if I place down this machine, it's going to be facing a certain side. And now I want this to be facing this direction. And what this is going to do is harvest very specific logs. Now, the best type of log to put in here is acacia logs. And I don't know if I have any acacia logs, but we can go ahead and farm some very quickly to just get in there for right now. So any old sapling, oop, I better not break random stuff. Any old sapling should be able to work. So let's go ahead and tap into here, and we'll do sapling. This would actually be a good example of this. And let's take something that we have a ton of, like oak saplings. And then we need the balance stone, and this is a fantastic part of the balance stone, right? Is we can convert this, just like so, into different tree types. And now we have acacia saplings. Oh, that's fantastic. And then we just need a little bit of bone meal, and we should be set. So now I can grow a couple of these trees, and so on and so forth. And we'll start off with some acacia wood that we can have farmed by those extractors. So now that I have all of that wood, all you have to do is basically place it here. But I want to test out a few rats for this. So I have some rats that are stored up inside of some pins that I've been saving just for this little scenario. And let's go ahead and grab a couple of rats. I think 3 rats is all you can carry at one time, but you can use a rat sack, which is something I probably should make. Now, what I want is to tell the first rat, I want it to place over here. Now, this is where I don't know if multiple rats can interact with one thing, but right now, let's go ahead and say, this is your home, set home. And then I also want you to take from this barrel, but I also want you to place items, which I might have to define in here if I take these out. I'm going to put a block placer upgrade. Now, I want this rat to place blocks right here. So let's see, set home point for rat, reset rat. I don't know how to define it to place a particular block on a particular location. It will place blocks on its home location. Okay, so this needs to be defined as its home location. So now that's the home location. So this rat, as soon as I put these in, it should, once set to the appropriate thing, so it needs to be set to harvest. There we go. It should place on its home location. Look at that. And so the cool part about this all is it's waiting for this block to place, and these are going to start making latex without even using power. So later on they'll go faster if you do use power, but for right now they're going to go at this pace. Now what I want to try now is, once this has a full bucket worth of latex in it, I want it to take that and I want it to fill this tank over here. And this is where I don't know if one rat can do all of this in one go. So this will be set to transfer items. So we'll have it set to transport items. And then I'm going to set its home location right here. And then what I want is it to extract. So we want to take from here. Can I also allow it to take from here? So there we go. It can only take from one location, it looks like, which is kind of unfortunate for this particular case. I wish we could set it to pull from multiple locations. So yeah, for this, we're going to end up needing multiple rats that are going to transport these items. So there we go. Transport items, and then of course, transport items. I love these. These are pretty cute. I think this is a really cool idea. And then I'm going to set this one's home position, this one's home position, and then do the same thing on these, except this one's going to take fluid. And then same with this. This one is going to take fluid. And so they're going to set here until there is a bucket ready to go. And then I want them to deposit to this. So deposit into this one, and then same for all of these. I don't think it gets any simpler than that. This is a really cool solution to not using pipes all the time. So now with that in the works, by the time we get done building, we should have plenty of latex to get started. So let's commence the building. Just a quick interruption because I realized these are full. I wanted to check on them and make sure the rats were transferring the fluids, but they're not, which is kind of unfortunate. I wonder exactly what their reasoning behind not doing that is, but instead I could just go ahead and put tanks on here and let this extract directly to a tank. You know, it's always so refreshing once you get a build somewhat finished. Look at this. We have this nice large courtyard area that we can work from and still have some greenery in here. So it doesn't look 100% stale, but tons of working space. Now, I do want to check out what has gone on over here and how much latex do we have? Currently not as much as I would have hoped. We still only have one bucket built up. Something fills off. Oh, no, we have more than a bucket. As you can see right here, we have one bucket, 691. If you click on these, you can actually see how much is in there. So we almost have 2 buckets for each, which is great. That's a good starting point. Now, I wanted to try and test something out because I did see that there are these rat cage wheels. And I was wondering, if we put a rat cage in here, a wheel, does this generate RF? Like, it says it will generate RF. But how? Oh, is it generating power? Okay. It is storing power, but it's not sending power to this. I think you need a rat in order to transfer the power. Now, there is a way to do that. I will say this is just hilarious. There's a rat just really running its legs off. And I can go ahead and put a transfer in here. And then all we should be able to do is click this. And let's go ahead and set its home here. And then we can set this to take items from air. Yeah, like that. We'll take the items from there, and then we're going to deposit into here. And this should, once we set it to transfer, it should transfer power into this. And look, it is sending power and it is charged. That is hilarious. So now that we have another funny method of generating power, let's go ahead and use that instead of sending it to the fluid extractor, which is nice for right now. I think we want to send this to a new machine, and that is going to be a latex processing unit. So in order to do this, we need to basically consume some of the latex that we currently have and use a machine frame, and I think run out of redstone in the process, because I am very low on that. I've got to do a little mining. See, this is exactly why we're getting all this set up, because eventually we could just use power and basically convert it into items, which would inevitably be amazing. So now, after doing a teensy bit of mining, we can go ahead and craft this. So latex processing unit is going to allow us to take some of this latex and sort of incorporate it. I'm going to place it here for now. I think that is going to work out just fine. Hopefully this rat can still place a block here, given that it can't technically go on top. But I do want to go ahead and talk about a few things. So we need to feed this power, water, and also latex that we're generating from all their other sides. Now, water we can get from a sink. This is going to be an unlimited water supply, and we can access the water from the top by setting it to pool. And as you see, the water goes in. Now, what I want to do is transfer power to this. So let's nab this rat. Actually, we are already nabbed, and we can go ahead and set the distance here. And we're going to set it to deposit here instead. And that looks like it is now sending only here, even though it does look like this is still checkmarked. I don't think this is still sending power here, but it might be sending power to multiple locations. And I'm just not seeing that it's doing that. No, it's only sending to one. So yeah, you can see right here, it's going back up. So yeah, it only sets to one location. So now it's set to going to this. It's filling that up with power. And then the latex, we're going to pull from all of the different sides. So pull from here, pull from here, and pull from the right. That's going to pull all the latex out of these. And for right now, that's perfectly fine. We want that to do this. We want it to also consume this power and slowly but surely convert it. It doesn't, however, seem like there's enough power coming from this one rat. Now, I'm trying new things, and sometimes when you try new things, you encounter bugs and weird behaviors. And I tried to see if I could set this rat to be faster, but I think it's causing other problems. I cannot. Okay. Whew. It had a speed upgrade, and I think that was causing a lot of problems. That speed upgrade is very, very weird. But yeah, the stack upgrade I don't think is working either. I was seeing if it would actually transfer the max transfer rate, but it doesn't seem to be doing that. You can notice here, it's really sending like half of that. Which is kind of weird. So I think what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to send the power differently. I also noticed that this rat, unfortunately, they have to have access to the top block in order to be able to place it. So unfortunately, with this being here, it can't interact. So instead, I'm going to replace you with a modular router. Now, I went ahead and replaced the rat here that was placing blocks with a modular router. That's simply pulling from the front, pulling from this barrel, and then placing blocks from the place to the top. That's perfectly fine. This rat, as you can see right here, is just not able to place because there's a block up here. Now, I tested out using conduits here, and it turns out that my issue is probably not that the rat can't transfer power fast enough. It's that I'm just not generating enough power in order to transfer into here. This just doesn't generate a whole lot of power. Now, I still want to use rats for this whole setup, but I just don't think it's going to work in the actual rat wheel here. So let's move these rats, and instead, let's set up a pitiful generator. That should do the trick. And what we're going to do is just basically tell the rats, hey, transfer the coal that you're generating into this. So let's grab one of our rats that's not doing anything right now. And yeah, we'll take the coal that it's generating over here, or any of the burnable items. I think all of these items except for apples can go into this. So let's make sure we have the rat down. And yeah, this is just going to do a regular transfer. So we'll say take items from barrel, and then we can set this as home right here. That's fine. And then we'll say send that into here and deposit items. So hopefully this rat, once we set it to transfer, hopefully this is going to get the job done. You can see it's running all over the place, but it's putting items in and we're starting to generate power. And then let's set up our rat again for the power transfer. And it's already set to transport items. We should be good. And we'll set this to home. Set this to take from pitiful and send here to deposit. And hopefully it will move power once we put the upgrade in. Of course I'm missing that. I don't know why I ended up putting that in this rat's upgrade. But man, that rat is just going all over the place. These guys are some speedy boys. Perfect. So now it's sending enough power. So that's what I wanted to see. And now we're starting to get that tiny dry rubber, which is what we needed. Now, this rat is definitely going to need a whitelist, and we can go ahead and just whitelist that charcoal and put that in there and tell our rat to, hey, only pull out charcoal. Otherwise, it's going to have things like this happen where we end up getting saplings and apples and all kinds of stuff that we don't want that can't actually go in here. So now this seems like it's doing a pretty good job. We're generating some pellets. I also went ahead and hooked up some extra cables into the back to be able to provide power to these because this can only provide power to one machine. Like it's like going from one to the other. And yeah, that would be a lot of rats if we really wanted to send to multiple machines. So now I'm going to take my dry rubber that I have, and there is a machine that I need to get prepped up as soon as possible, and that's a dissolution chamber. So with a little bit of this plastic and basically a little bit of some diamonds, which we're going to need to make the gear, as you can see right here, we can now make a dissolution chamber. And this is where the upgrades start to happen. So all I have to do is I'm going to place this next to the generator so we can just get power directly from this. We need to fill this with some material such as latex and things like that. And this is where we start our journey into industrial foregoing. Because the early on, if we, like, for example, I don't have a lot of diamonds, we can go ahead and start working on things like this if we have enough gold. This right here with a single bucket, we'll end up making some speed upgrades. These speed upgrades will allow us to upgrade our fluid extractors so they can extract faster, which would give us more latex and allow us to make more upgrades, and so on, and the loop goes on and on. Now, I've prepped up some of the ingredients for each one of the upgrades because I definitely want to be producing as much latex as possible. And so I'm going to grab a bucket and I can just place it in here. And for right now, it's going to be very manual. I'm going to take the 2 upgrades. We need 2 gold gears, and it doesn't really matter what order that you put these in, but this is basically how we're going to make the speed upgrades. And I'm noticing I'm going to run out of power very fast doing this. Are we going to have enough? Okay, no. So I'm probably going to need to disconnect some of my cables from this, so that way I will have enough power, hopefully. Oh boy. Definitely tell I'm sort of in a power crisis right now, as I just don't have enough power being generated. Now, I did manage to get to that point right now. You can see 3 of the pitiful generators get me to the point for which the dissolution chamber will work. But my goodness, am I going to be ready to get into some better power options? Now, I want to experiment with something. Now that I have this up and running and I have a pretty sufficient amount of things, I went ahead and made some range upgrades, and I have a baby animal separator from Industrial Foregoing and a mob slaughter factory. So you might be putting 2 and 2 together, and well, yeah, this may be a little disturbing, but it is going to be kind of fun. So what I plan on doing is basically making a auto breeder that allows me to pull the baby animals into a separate pen. So we always have the adults staying in one pen. So here's the baby animal separator. And I think if I place it this direction, nope, that's the wrong way. Let's place it the other way. The face is the face for which the animals should. Yeah, and oh, you can change it to actually move adults or babies. That's actually pretty cool. But we want to be moving babies. And we can go ahead and show the area. So this should be the side that it pulls the mobs from and then sends over here. So the goal, hopefully, will be to move the mobs. Let's go ahead and check again. I'm pretty sure this is the side that moves. So let's put our range upgrade in, and this will extend the range for which it's checking for those mobs that are baby. And yeah, I'm probably going to need to move this in. You can see right here, there's a little bit of extension. So things might start to become a little bit clear, as you can see right here. I went ahead and put a wall. I think a wall is going to be much better solution to our problem. And then we put that in there. That's going to extend that range, which is perfectly fine. I can go ahead and hide that. It does need a little bit of power. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply put a generator in here, and then we'll feed that with power here in a moment. But what I really want, what's really important, is we are going to need a way to kill these mobs. And yeah, this is where I think having this sort of setup going, where we have a pitiful generator and we have a mob slaughter factory going, is the way to do this. Now, the baby mobs are small, and so we shouldn't have to worry about the mob slaughter factory killing the baby mobs. And to be fair, I haven't tested this, but I don't think that the mob slaughter factory will even kill baby mobs. I don't remember though. We'll definitely have to test that. But if it is the case that it does kill them, all we have to do is just make sure to move this up one. And then you'll notice the range will leave the baby mobs, which will be 1 block tall, down here. And as soon as they turn into adults, they will interact with this range. Now I went ahead and yoinked some mobs now, and I've also shut off the baby separator because I don't want the babies to start just yet. I actually want to build up a nice amount of cows in here. Now, how am I planning on breeding these mobs? Well, I want to use a ritual. So actually 2 rituals, and we should also be able to set a source jar in the middle of them. Now, one of these rituals is going to be the fertility ritual. And this basically will breed up the mobs that are right over here. As soon as I activate it, that is. So let's go ahead and get some source sent over to this. And then this one is actually going to grow baby mobs quicker, so long as once we put this in, we augment it with a bone block. And then if we activate that, now babies should grow faster. So technically these 2 mobs now should eventually breed up. Once because this is activated. Oh wait, no, it's not. We need to activate it. There we go. Now these mobs should breed up with the activation going on, and we should get some baby cows. And of course, those baby cows should, over time, just a little bit of time actually, grow quicker, right? They should be able to turn into the adult version a lot faster. Now, I do want to let them build up, and it's going to take a little bit of time, but once we have enough of these, we should be able to simply turn this on, and the baby mobs will get sent over here, and we're going to turn this into 2 different materials. Liquid meat, I know, it sounds very gross, but it is quite useful, and pink slime. All of these things are going to allow us to get into more advanced things from this mod. So I think at this point I have enough. So let's go ahead and turn this on. And we should see baby mobs getting transferred over, hopefully, as soon as there are some. Because, yeah, this is definitely a nice jumble amount of cows. We definitely have cooldowns on some of these starting. But, yeah, we should start to see some baby mobs popping over. Oh, one just happened, just like that. Okay, so we ended up getting a couple, and probably more are going to get sent over here. And the goal is, of course, once this does fully grow, you can see that it is just barely there. Once it is fully grown, it should be within the killing range. That's the hope. And this thing should change as soon as this does another activity. There it goes. And notice it did take the mob, and now we have pink slime and liquid meat. Just a little bit, but this is a very simple way of doing it without the need of a mob farm. Now, another amazing thing about this particular farm is the cows or passive mobs actually generate more pink slime, which is actually what we want. We want pink slime to be able to make the higher end frames and everything. So we can make better generators and everything like that. But pink slime right here is being generated in more abundance than the actual liquid meat. So definitely worth setting up passive mobs early on for this. And as soon as I have a single bucket worth of this, we are going to start working on more advanced stuff. But that is going to have to wait until next episode, because today we are all out of time. Now, with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know it was fun, filled with all kinds of craziness, all the way from Industrial Foregoing to rats. It's been a lot. So if you did enjoy, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a huge thumbs up if you did enjoy. Of course, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to, if I can spell things right, which I always struggle, thanks is going out to Bellzilla. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Bye.